when it comes to a race like Booker versus McGrath in Kentucky, I'm going to ask you guys a question that I'm sure the rest of the media will find terribly offensive. Is Chuck Schumer stupid? Because, and hear me out here, right? Because encouraging McGrath to run as Republican light in Kentucky, I mean, that is Chuck Schumer 101, Democratic establishment 101. We've seen it for the last minimum 20 years, right? That is a phenomenon completely independent of Donald Trump. And so they ran Clara McCaskill that way in Missouri. She got killed when the minimum wage bill we talked about earlier passed easily. If she'd run as a strong progressive in favor of raising your wages, maybe she'd have had a shot. Joe Donnelly runs as almost Republican, right? Clutching a Bible and et cetera in his ads and beating himself up with the Bible. I mean, all the insane things that he did. He got killed in Indiana. And here they go and they tell McGrath, presumably, why don't you try to get Republicans who like Trump to vote for you? And I get it. Look, as progressives, we're sophisticated. They smear us by saying, "Oh, did you know that Kentucky's actually a red state?" Really, Sherlock, you just figured that out. Now we know Trump won Kentucky by 30, right? But the question is there a populist strand that he tapped into that you could tap into from the left rather than begging Republicans for their votes, which is never going to work? So, but does he actually believe it'll work? Because then I would say he's not just like, it's interesting. Would he just rather have Mitch McConnell win than a progressive? Or is he really stupid enough to think Trump supporters in Kentucky are gonna vote for a Democrat?
Well, I just think it's the overall machine, right? And the reason he is the minority leader of the Democrats in the Senate is because he's the best fundraiser. So it's not like he's the best strategic mind that they have. He just rakes in the most cash. And so then the money goes to the candidate that's most aligned with those donors. And so then it's this self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, no one could have beaten Mitch McConnell if she loses in the fall. Well, maybe someone could have, but Schumer wasn't even considering that person because he's only looking within the bubble of donors. And I think that that's really what makes the whole campaign finance system so insidious in ways that I don't even think people recognize, because it's this circular thing where you have the Senate leader now just basically picking candidates that only fit into that mold.
Right. And I actually wonder that question a lot of times, Cenk. I wonder, is it incompetence or is it malevolence? Like, are they gaslighting us so much that they are willing to play the game, make themselves look like fools in order to make sure that we never get a progressive on the ballot? And honestly, even if it is incompetence, it's incompetence to the point of malevolence, because the result is the same. If these people are this ignorant, this incompetent, this feckless, that they are continuously handing power to the Republican Party, the result is the same. So they either way, we have to clean house top to bottom, including and especially Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, and in the case of Kentucky, I mean, we literally saw this movie before. They ran Allison Lundgren Grimes as Republican light against Mitch McConnell. It's not like it was even a different candidate, and she got killed, and they learned nothing from that. And so I just think they're impervious to quote unquote learning. And to the point one of you made before, I mean, if Biden wins, they'll take that as a data point that, oh, you see that the centrist moderate candidate is what America wants. When Hillary Clinton loses, and she's a centrist moderate candidate in the mold that they like, they don't take that as a data point. Yeah. Right, that one doesn't count. It was the Russians, it was Comey, it was this, it was that, it was the weather. But when they win, it counts. And so Claire McCaskill wins when nobody knows her, and Joe Donnelly same, okay, that counts. And at that point, then she runs on a record of being a right-wing Democrat, and she loses, they're like, that one doesn't count. Why? And so that's why I get so frustrated and more frustrated at the media than I do at the Democratic establishment, because I get the game that they're playing. The question is, why does the media go along with it? why do they agree that Hillary Clinton losing is not relevant in terms of whether, right-wing Democrats are the right way to go or not? Of course it's relevant. You'd have to be out of your mind to think it's not relevant. I mean, she lost to Donald Trump. How could it get any worse than that? And yet the entire mainstream media, I mean, they came up with 1,000 excuses, but I don't remember any of them saying, oh no, they ran a centrist candidate, and obviously America doesn't want a Democratic candidate who leans towards Republicans. I did not hear that once in the mainstream media. I mean, it's stunning. So in fact, guys, it gets depressing because that means the media, there's no conspiracy theory in my mind. There's no smoke-filled rooms. The groupthink is so thick that they're establishment Democrats, almost all of them, and they just think that establishment people are right, and they're never going to agree with progressives, never.
Right. I think it's the problem of conventional wisdom and consultants, right? In terms of the media, the problem is conventional wisdom, and they feel like this is the framing, that they frame everything with conservative right-wing framing. That's because that's our life. Like, anyone who was born during Reagan's era, your entire existence has been a neoliberal existence. And so all the journalists who grew up, like if you study economics in school, you learn Chicago school economics. And so conventional wisdom is something that is really hard for a lot of people to have to declare any independence from. And the reason I bring up consultants is the other reason I think Chuck Schumer might just be dumb is because he has consultants who are paid good money to run the same playbook every single election. They get paid regardless. They're going to be millionaires twice over after this election, whether or not Donald Trump wins, whether or not Amy McGrath loses, or whether or not Hickenlooper loses, they still get paid. And so why would they ever change their playbook when they get the check anyway?
Yeah, so final thought on that, I guess, is that we've kind of concluded that it's not Chuck Schumer who's dumb, it's the media. No, seriously, because Chuck's got a game to play, and he doesn't really care much if progressives win. In fact, I genuinely believe, based on his actions, that he would rather not have progressives win. He would rather have a Republican win than a progressive. If you tell that to a mainstream media person, their heads will explode. They're like, no way, no way. But every time he shows that through his actions. And the consultants, that's a no-brainer. They get paid double, as Ben said, and they raised more money now in the Trump era than they've ever raised. So they couldn't be happier, right? The Democratic consultants. So the question is, why does the media go along with things that are obviously propaganda on behalf of one faction of American politics?
And by the way, a lot of that consultant culture was cemented by Obama in what he made the Democratic Party through OFA and all that, organizing for. I'm mixing up Hillary for America and whatever Obama's organization was.
When you sign up for a spend and save account at aspiration.com/TYT, we will plant 10 trees. Let's save the planet together.